And as someone coming from Africa, I feel like I have a lot to give back.
On this podcast, we are going to explore the diverse stories and perspective of students from around the world right here on our campus. My name is Wahab, and I'm happy to start this journey with you with our very first podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, and just like me, he also journeyed from Ghana to continue his education here in the US. We are going to ask him his perspective and how he has been adjusting to life in the US. We are also going to compare life in Ghana and life to here in the US. So, before wasting much time, let's meet our first guest. Hi, I'm very happy to have you here today.
I'm also very happy to be over here.
Great.
Yeah.
So before we start, I would like you to introduce yourself to our audience. You can mention your name and where you are from and where you call home.
I'm Aike again, but I just go by Aike around here, and I call home both Nigeria and Ghana. Yeah.
Great. So when did you move to Ghana from Nigeria?
I moved to Ghana in 2010, so I was like 8 years old around that time, and yeah.
How has Ghana been compared to Nigeria? How would you compare the two?
First, I would say both countries are kind of similar in terms of their cultural values, in terms of like food, music, taste. It's like very similar, but then on more like lower levels, I would say crime rates. I would say the economic situation. I would say Nigeria is higher in terms of like crime rates. The economic situation is kind of better in Ghana. At least the time when we went to Ghana in 2010. Of late, I would say that they are like much more similar.
That's amazing. I mean, I've been in Ghana all my life. I just moved to the US just in August to also pursue education here. So I don't really know much about Nigeria, but I've heard stuff, and I think what you're saying is quite true. I mean, I do love Ghana. Like you said, the crime rate is very low, and even though the economy is not very good, but yeah, what can we say? Yeah. Okay, so when did you move to the US?
I moved to the US last year, just in 2022. Yeah. So
how is it so far here compared to Ghana? How is life here compared to Ghana?
Life is it's okay. In Ghana, it's culturally different from here in the United States, but then I think I've been adapting well enough. The food here is obviously very different. The culture, the way of life, how people view relationships, how people view friendships. I had a lot of like adjusting to do. I kind of even found it hard making friends within like my first semester over here. But then I think over time, I've kind of like gotten used to how things work around here.
Yeah, you mentioned food. It's very important. I have a problem with the food here, honestly. I'm struggling. Right now, I want to eat some fufu or some wache.
Oh,
that's very hard for me to get. You know, today I heard that there was jollof at Briscoe.
Yeah.
So I went to check it out, and it was nowhere near jollof.
Yeah.
It was just this orange rice, which you come to that. Let's just move on. So you mentioned something about friendship.
Yeah.
How is it very hard to make friends here?
Yeah. When I came here, I was like looking for people who are much more like me. So with the black community over here, I kind of like found a disconnect, not because of anything, just because we were kind of different, how like our families obviously raised us was different.
Yeah.
So, but over time, I just kind of tried to fit in, to try to understand their perspectives on different issues, and I think it has been going all right since.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so
that's great. Okay, let's talk about college. What courses are you taking this semester?
This semester I'm taking a statistics class. I'm taking a class on leadership studies. I'm taking a class on comparative politics, and I'm also taking a class on comparative literature / Africana studies. Yeah.
That's amazing. What are you planning to get into your major?
Major in economics and political science with a concentration in either leadership studies or global studies. I would say throughout high school, actually in fact throughout most of my life, I've always been someone who's huge on STEM. I've been taking like chemistry, physics, biology, math like for most of my life. Now that was mostly because of how the system was back home. I was doing it because like my parents were more like, I should do it, not because I actually found any genuine interest or passion in it. But as I kept going in like my sophomore year in high school, I took an economics class, and I found that this is what I like. I like politics, I like economics, I like to change things around. But then to complete my high school, I just finished up my STEM courses. When I came here, I realized that I have to pursue economics and politics more, because I feel like that's where I'm going to have the most impact, where I'm going to change more things, where I'm going to save more lives.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, this is a very very good thing. Like you have a very good reason, and I wish you the best in your journey.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's go back to food.
Okay.
What are your favorite Ghanaian or Nigerian foods?
So wache, kuku, as they call it back home, Hausa kuku.
Yeah, Hausa
and then I didn't like banku that much, so now I don't like banku.
I hate banku.
Yeah, I didn't like banku. So I'll say wache and kuku were like my favorite food. And also yam and kontomire.
Nice.
Yeah, yam and kontomire.
What about kenke?
Nah, I don't like kenke.
You don't like kenke?
I don't like kenke.
Wow. Have you had some though?
I've had kenke.
And you don't like it still?
No, I don't like it. I tried kenke, I tried tozafi, I tried fufu, but like I don't like any of them. I just like wache, kuku, yes. And for Nigerian dishes, I was raised with eba, so that one I can't say whether I like it or not. I feel like it's just indoctrination.
Oh
you
yeah.
know? So it's like eba is part of my life.
Yeah.
And
that
then
makes sense.
pounded yam, that one I like it.
Fufu or pounded yam? Oh, do they call it fufu or pounded yam?
They call
Nigeria?
it the state I'm from. It's called pounded yam, but then other states in Nigeria, try the Yoruba states, call it fufu.
Oh.
Yes, but then that fufu is very different from the fufu in Ghana. Yes. I guess jollof is shared by both Ghana and Nigeria,
Yeah.
so I'll say I like jollof a lot. In terms of the jollof, I think is better. I would say it's Ghanaian jollof. But
Thank you very much. It's the best.
It's the best. It's
Exactly.
the best.
This debate has been going on for very long, you know, it's
Yeah.
still going on.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to end.
No,
it's going to
no,
continue. But I don't think jollof is from Ghana or Nigeria. Do you think so?
No, I think jollof is from Senegal.
Senegal.
Yeah,
I've heard that before.
I heard that the language spoken in Senegal, Wolof, that language, that was where the name from jollof comes from.
Wow, I just learned something new. I've never heard this before. This is my first time. Wolof. Is it a
Wolof,
language?
yeah, it's a language
In Senegal.
In Senegal, yeah. I read it somewhere. I don't know the history, or I don't know how accurate that source is.
Yeah.
But then I just saw that Wolof.
Yeah.
That's what jollof.
That sounds like almost the same, you know, jollof Wolof.
Yeah.
And it's just a small change.
Yeah.
So you've talked a lot about food and, you know, academics and the movement from Ghana to here and how it's been so far. Now let's talk about something else. Yeah. More of entertainment and stuff.
Okay.
Do you listen to music or dance?
Oh yeah, I do. I listen to Afrobeat a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah. I also listen to hip hop, but then I feel like I used to be a bigger hip hop fan when I was younger. But then as Afrobeat got better and I kept listening, I'm like, I think Afrobeat is now more interesting than hip hop, interestingly. Yeah. But then in general, I'll say that my music background has mostly been Eminem.
Oh,
Yeah. Growing up, that was like
that's great.
that's like my favorite artist.
Oh, that's
yeah, I
nice.
listen to him a lot. I'm also like into Amapiano, just like Afrobeat, and that's the one I come from South Africa. So I dance a lot to Amapiano, dance a lot to Afrobeat.
That's great.
I love.
I think everybody dance, whether you know how to dance or not.
Yes,
Do you agree with
I
that?
agree with
Like,
that.
even in our minds, we dance.
And you feel like
That's
you watch
how-
these like videos and you feel like you should do the same thing, but
Exactly.
you can't do it.
You can't do it.
But then you're like, you know what? Let me just enjoy myself.
Yeah, sometimes you can do the moves perfectly in your mind,
Yes.
but when you start moving, it's terrible.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's very great. Has there been any situation since you got here? Has there been any situation whereby you shared some Ghanaian or Nigerian culture with someone here, someone from a different country or something?
Not really.
Not really.
I wouldn't say I have done that so far. I also have only shared that with Nigerians and Ghanaians that I meet, because for some reason this campus and this country in general are very sensitive to a lot of things, and some things back home that might seem very like jovial or
Yeah.
like playful, like no one really takes it very serious. It can end up being like something serious over here. So
That's
I don't try to take lots of chances on that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I've also had similar experiences. I've noticed that. Yeah. I think you just have to be careful on how you relate with people,
Yeah.
especially those who are from different countries as
Yes.
yourself, just like you mentioned.
Yeah.
And that's very important. Okay. So, what are your challenges as a student here, Williams College? What do you think?
Challenges?
I think, yeah. For me, I think the academics is very rigorous.
Of
And
course,
what
the
do you think?
academics is I think it's like one of the biggest challenge, if not the biggest challenge, to like the stress to keep like a high GPA, the stress to always try to get an A in the class, you know, and it's like it's like this cycle that never ends, because you always feel like you have to like ace the class,
Yeah.
and then sometimes you might even get something like an A minus, and then you begin to feel so bad. And sometimes I think personally, I'm like, why do you even have to feel bad for getting an A minus? You know what I'm saying? It's not like as if you did bad, because back home, like someone who gets like, I don't know, like someone who gets an A minus like from 90 to 92, person is like, you are good,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Like the grading system from 90, like you are good. But over here, there's a lot of,
it's quite flexible.
yeah,
back home.
But
It's
over
very
here,
rigorous.
it's very rigorous, a lot of stress. Yeah, so I'll say that's like something. But then I think something that I would say rivals that challenge, at least for me, is applying for internships and job offers. Because yes, the academics is rigorous here, but then they're getting internships and networking to be able to land jobs, which is basically the ultimate goal, you know, because I mean, we're not just studying to study, we also want to make money. That is also like very, very difficult. In fact, for some people, that's much more challenging than even the academics, because for some firms, they don't really they don't really want your academics to be at like the highest possible level, but then when it comes to their job skills, they need it like top notch.
I think the rigidity makes sense because like students here are like from the 1 to 10%, top 10% of their high schools before they got here.
Yes.
So you expect them to do very well.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense.
It makes sense.
But for me, it's very hard.
Yeah.
I must say I'm struggling as a freshman. I'm going through a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of my friends know I'm going through a lot. Like when you come in sometimes, you know that I'm struggling.
No, it's something that I also share. Like I also like share the same feelings when I was a freshman here. It's not like as if I'm not struggling now, but I'll say that I'm doing my first semester here, I struggled a lot.
Yeah.
I did also have a lot of information on courses I'm to choose what enough. So I actually chose a 200 level class in my first semester, and that wasn't the best. Yeah, that was very tough. I had to stay so many nights up, and it was really bad. That was discrete.
Discrete math?
Yeah, discrete
I want to take
math.
discrete math.
Yeah. At that time, for discrete math, we had this perception that discrete was super easy because the prof from last semester, from the previous semester, did like a take-home exam. Everything was fine. Like people, it was self-graded.
Yeah.
People actually graded themselves.
Okay.
Yeah. So they were like, this is one of the easiest.
No, I want to score themselves low.
Yeah. So then we took it, and apparently we got a new prof, and the new prof was a visiting prof, and it was like it was very, very like difficult.
Stuff changed.
Yeah, everything changed, and most of the TAs were like, wow, like, you guys are like, this is so different from when we took it. Like, this is so hard. Like, we didn't know this how it's going to be. But I think over time, like, I kind of like got.
That's great. That's amazing. That's great. So again, what are your biggest achievements in the US since you moved here as a student?
Honestly, I would say I have like any particular big achievement. I'll just say getting through school itself is an achievement. Like getting through the classes, doing all of that. Yeah. It's like small wins. It's like, yeah, you're going, trying to apply, having to like obviously I feel like what would be big achievements for me would be graduating and landing like a job at a really good firm. Like that would be my like ultimate achievement. That's like on campus, I don't really have any. It feels like everything is working towards that achievement. You get what I'm saying?
That's great. Yeah. That's true. What are your goals after college?
That's something I've been like
what do you plan to go into? Yeah,
I've been debating that for a long time, but I feel like ultimately, into the distant future, it's politics. It's politics, changing state of the world, Pan-Africanism. That's like my huge ideology.
Okay.
But then before I get there, I need some kind of stepping stones, and then I just feel like when I'm done here, I need to like get some money to be able to break into that kind of political environment. So I'm thinking of something like consulting, like going to the consulting firm or like the business or finance world. And I'm doing that specifically because Williams has a very good structure system that like puts you on that path to be able to get into those kind of firms. So yeah, I feel like for now I'm on the consulting path, but then I'm not also like fully sure about that. Like I feel like I want to do an internship, see how it goes. I'm also thinking of law school. Because I know that law school is a really, really good path to politics. And if you look at the US and other countries in general, a lot of politicians have had law degrees.
Yeah, that's true. I think you have amazing ambitions when it comes to academics and life in general. And that's very good. I wish you the very best.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Do you plan to work in Ghana or abroad?
first, like obviously for the first few years after I'm done with college, I think I'll work in the US.
Yeah.
This is where I'm obviously going to get more money, better
That's
pay,
true.
better that. If not the US, maybe a country in Western Europe or yeah. But then I feel like going down the line, I would want to go back to Ghana or Nigeria, establish something in those countries, both of them, try to help more people from there, see how it goes.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I think we are almost coming to the end of this podcast. Yeah, and it's been very great so far. I've enjoyed it so much. Thank you very much for the time taken.
No problem.
You know, when I spoke to you yesterday about the podcast, you just said, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's amazing. Okay. So before we finish, we wrap up everything, I want you to say something to, you know, people from countries outside the US, of course, who would like to study abroad, especially here in the US. What do you have for those people?
The first thing I'll say is just take the leap. I know like the culture here is different, everything is different, but don't let it stop you. Just leave wherever you are, come here, understand this different like the differences you have, and just try to make good use of it. Like these like differences kind of make you a better person. They shape your ideas in ways you would never understand. People over here kind of have just one way of thinking. People back home have one way of thinking, but then they don't travel back there to understand your way of thinking. But you are traveling here to understand their way of thinking. So which means you are actually in a sense more equipped to handle situations than they are if you look at it from that perspective. So then I'll advise them that they should come understand as much as they can while not also abandoning what they know from back home, and then use that to try to grow, develop, and ultimately help themselves and their wider community. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the advice.
No problem.
I hope our listeners will make good use of it.
Yeah.
Before we finish, let me ask you, how hard was it for you getting to US college?
It was, I would say I got lucky in the sense of like, not because I didn't qualify academically, but just because I knew a lot of people who had to apply a lot of times to be able to get it, my brother included. So it was just, I just finished high school, and actually I started the applications the year before my final year of high school. So that's like my third year of high school.
Okay.
And then I wrote the SAT that previous year, and then while I was still in school, I got accepted.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
So I was like, okay, like it wasn't like I didn't really go through.
A lot of
So
I know people who have been applying for very long.
Yes.
It must be hard.
It's hard because my brother actually applied at first, and then he didn't get into the schools that he wanted to get into, so he had to do the application. Yeah, so it's like a whole process. So I'll just say that I just feel like I just got lucky at that point, because it doesn't always go the way that you want
That's
it.
great. I think you deserve it for who you are, you know.
Yeah.
You have to do some work, of course. You did something.
Yeah.
So if you're watching right now and you're working on an application, you don't have to give up. Just keep pushing and keep working. You're going to get it. You're going to get it. Right?
Yeah, you're going to definitely.
Amazing. Alright guys, this is the end of our very first episode of Transatlantic Conversations. If you enjoyed this podcast, don't forget to subscribe, like, and also share this video with your friends so they can also benefit from it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.